Question 7. This one's slightly annoying because you've got to really understand what the question's asking you about, so you really need to pick apart the language very carefully here. Of travelers at a small airport, 60% fly major airlines. So let's start putting notation on this and writing down some probability. So probability of, say, A major airlines is 60%, so 0.6. Probability of B, which is a private plane, that's 0.3. Probability of C, right, which is whatever's remaining, 10%, 0.1. That's on a small airline. Now we've got to understand what this lot means. Of those traveling on major airlines, 50% travel for business. So probability that they're traveling for business, given that they're on a major airline. So, oops, I need a new term for business, which doesn't begin with a B. So the probability of D given A is 0.5. The next one that we're told about is given that they're on a private plane, B, 60% of people are traveling for business. So this probability is 0.6 that they're traveling for business given that they're on a private plane. And on small airlines, probability that they're traveling for business is 0.9. So we go to the airport, we grab someone, and we're after the probability that they travel on business. That is the total probability for event D. So let's go through our usual law of total probability. Okay, and now this is a calculator exercise. So let's stick some numbers in and see what we get. So that's going to be 0.5 times 0.6 plus 0.6 times 0.3 plus 0.9 times 0.1. 0.57. Okay, so 50% of people, or 50%, or 57% probability that this person's traveling for business. The next thing that we're asked about is traveling on a private plane for business. You'll notice that the language here is a little bit different to the next question, traveling on a private plane, given that they are traveling for business. Traveling on a private plane for business means that we're interested in that they're on a private plane and they're traveling for business, the probability of this combined event, which is actually probability of private plane, which is B, intersection D, business. Right? So that's actually quite a confusing phrasing that you've got to be aware of. So how are we going to find this intersectional probability? Well, we've got conditional probabilities, and we know from the definition of conditional probability, the probability of D given B is the probability of D and B given the probability B. So we know all these things. We know the probability of B, and we know the probability of D given B. So we can write P, D, and B equals P, D given B times probability B. And now that's a calculator exercise again. And in this case, that's going to be 0.6 for this one times 0.3 for this. So I think that should be 0.18. And because I'm not confident in my mental arithmetic, I'm going to check it with my calculator and find out that I am indeed correct. Okay. All right, next one. Given traveling on a private plane, given that they are traveling for business. So this one's distinct. This question in part C is distinct from part B because we know they're traveling for business. Right? We've been told that. We're given that. So what we're being asked for is the probability that they're on a private plane, B, given D. Right? So B given D is related to D, probability of D given B by Bayes' rule. We've computed the probability of D by our law of total probability up here. So once again, this reduces to a calculator trick. So 0.8 divided by 0.57. All right, this works out to be about 0.32. All right, and finally, D, traveling for business given that they are traveling on a small airline. Well, that's just PD given small airline, which is C. Now we're told that probability. It's 0.9. That's just cheap and easy marks because it's just asking about something that's already in the question.